आप बोलिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। मूकं करोति वाचालं
लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे माधवम्।
શરૂ કરીશું તો આપણે?
Yep. We are all
દિનેશભાઈ?
હાજી
ઓકે. થોડા ગયા વખતે બે ત્રણ વખતનો ક્વેશ્ચન that I thought about talking about those first. પહેલું તો importance of Bhagavad in Vaishnavite school. The story goes something like this according to Bhagavad. When Krishna was dying, કે પેલો જ્યારે પારઘીએ તીર માર્યું ત્યારે એને ઉદ્ધવ પૂછે છે કે તમે તો જાઓ છો પણ કે હવે અમારું શું અહીંયા આ કળિયુગમાં અમારે કેવી તમે તો કેવું you are going to the abode or your own abode, what about us? તો કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન જવાબ એવો આપે છે according to Bhagavad કે ભાઈ I'm physically not here, I won't be here physically, but I'm going to reside in Bhagavad. Every time Bhagavad is recited, I am going to be present when it is recited. So the idea of Bhagavad, importance of Bhagavad, according to Vaishnava school, is one of this. By every time Kathakar Bhagavad ni varta kare, so Krishna Bhagavan is physically present, listening to the conversation about his life. That is the idea, one. The second one was, Asmita Ben asked me the question, I couldn't remember the whole story, but I read through again. The Gokarnani story. It is also basically using the same ideas. The story goes something like this. There was a Brahmin named Atmadev, and I had a wife called Dunduli. She was very obstinate and very difficult to deal with. And they didn't have any child. That's the story. So he goes and does all this austerity and everything, cannot get anything. So eventually some sadhu gives him a fruit. Ke bhai aaj tari wife ne khawdav je, so you are going to get a child. And he goes home and gives this fruit to wife. Wife doesn't want to eat. She doesn't trust him. So she gives the fruit to a cow. And any બેન pregnant છે એની વાઈફની એટલે એની સાળી કે તારું જે છોકરું આવશે તો હું કહીશ કે આ મારું છે પણ જે આ કેરીથી જે થવાનું છે તે તો ગાયને આપી દઉં છું. તો idea is basically a guy delivers a baby with ears of cow. That's the story. Now the baby that is born of the wife's sister turns out to be a bad guy and does lots of bad things and eventually dies. You know, so the story goes something like this: he wants to get the moksha. So how does he get moksha? So eventually Gokarna comes up with the idea of Bhagavad Katha. If he comes and he becomes a ghost, this guy, the one who died, if you come and reside and listen to Bhagavad story for 7 days, so he comes and lives in a bamboo that is in the tent of the wherever the katha is being said. And every day he listens to one day, the bamboo breaks, and eventually after 7 days, he gets some moksha. So idea is again same thing. By listening to Bhagavad for 7 days, you may very well end up with the moksha. That's the idea. Third story goes something like this. Narad and Vyas, they are having conversation. Vyas is not very happy. So Narad puche, why are you not happy? You have written Vedas and Upanishads and Brahma Sutra and Gita. So somehow I feel like I haven't done complete work yet. એટલે બ્રહ્મા અને નારદ એને કહે છે કે તું કૃષ્ણ ભગવાનની સ્ટોરી લખ અને that story is going to be the ultimate of your work. And that is how he wrote the story of Krishna Bhagavan in Bhagavad. So for him, the Bhagavad says the story is like he completed the narrative that he was destined to do when he was born. So the Bhagavad is the ultimate culmination of everything that he is supposed to do that ended in Bhagavad. So that's the basic idea of importance of Bhagavad in Vaishnavite school. Why we listen to Bhagavad? Our Gujarat ma akho divas kathao thati hoy, that's the idea. So these are the three stories that I kind of read through again. So some of them I didn't remember exactly how it was figured out, but this is the story. And the other one is Parikshit Raja was dying and he's being told by Sukhdev for 7 days because he's going to die in 7 days. So he tells a story that we already talked about. The way he tells a story that he heard as a parrot that was recited by Shankar to Parvati, and that was recited to Brahma by Lord Vishnu. So that's another story. So that's the end of the importance of Bhagavad as far as Vaishnavite school goes. You know. Second part that we were talking about, Krishna Bhagavan na kaya swarup, you know, that Pushti Marg accepts as a valid swarup. So these are the ones that are listed in the Pushti Marg websites. You know, some of them we already talk about. You know, Govardhan Nath Ji, Mathura Desh Ji, Vitthal Nath Ji, Dwarka Desh, Gokul Nath Ji, Madan Mohan Ji. I don't think we Natvar Ji, Balakrishna is baby Krishna. So all these 10 forms of તમારો અવાજ બંધ છે.
એટલે આમાં દ્વારકાધીશ અને ગોકુલનાથ અને ગોકુલચંદ્ર મની એ ક્યાં આગળ આવે એ લોકોના?
એ મને નથી ખબર. આ ગોકુલચંદ્ર મને પણ પોતાને નથી ખબર કે આ ગોકુલ ક્યાં છે. પણ અમારા 5-6 નામ મને ખબર છે, પણ બાકીના 3-4 મને નથી ખબર ક્યાં છે. એટલે I didn't carefully try to look કે ભાઈ આ કઈ જગ્યાએ છે. એટલે I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah.
રણછોડરાયનું નામ બોલીએ છે ને તો એટલે I know that's in Dakor, પણ આમાં it's not there. It's not.
આમાં નથી.
Okay.
at least આમાં લિસ્ટમાં નથી. એટલે આપણે કહીએ છીએ you're right. આપણે રણછોડરાયજીનું બોલીએ છીએ. આમ તો આપણે વડોદરામાં કલ્યાણરાયજીનું પણ છે.
હા, એટલે હું એ જ કહેતી હતી કે કલ્યાણરાયજીનું બી નામ નથી. રાઈટ.
એટલે I don't know for sure કે ભાઈ it may be variable in depending upon the region you are in.
Which okay.
Yeah. કે રાજસ્થાનમાં જુદું હોય, મધ્યપ્રદેશમાં જુદું હોય, ઉત્તર પ્રદેશમાં જુદું હોય, ગુજરાતમાં જુદું હોય. I'm guessing that. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Yeah. 1,000 name of Krishna is hard to.
Right. But when I read through these names, I could recognize 5 or 6 names that we often recite.
Govardhanathji.
Right. Anil bhai, any comments?
No, I think Ranchod Raiji એ દ્વારકાથી આવ્યા હતા ને, એટલે if you were mentioning something about Dakorની વાત છે. Yeah, that you were mentioning some. That's what all I have to add. I don't have anything to add into this.
How about Srinathji? Srinathji, but I thought that's a whole.
Srinathji Bhagwan.
Srinathji is the ultimate form of Krishna.
Krishna, okay.
So Srinathji is manifested all these ways.
Okay.
Srinathji is the main swarup.
Right. I was reading, I didn't know exactly, but one of the locations mentioned can be Dwarkadish is not the one that we are talking about in Dwarka. There is another Dwarkadish in Rajasthan. So they were making a point that this is Dwarkadish from Rajasthan. I don't know for sure.
But what is the difference between the Dwarkadish from there and Dwarka?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing that there is some difference in terms of Sringar and Sangar.
Yeah.
That might be variable depending upon who is who.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't figure out what is the specific distinction between those two.
એટલે ઘણી વખત એ
આ જે
લોકો
બધું છે
સ્વરૂપમાં થોડો ફેર કરે છે ને, સ્વરૂપમાં થોડોક નહીં જેવું.
ના એટલે દરેક મંદિરમાં ડિફરન્ટ જે શ્રીનાથજીના સ્વરૂપ હોય
રાઈટ.
એ છે આ બધું રાજુ?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, you are right. I mean, Srinath is manifested in different ways depending upon what temple you are in.
યા કારણ કે આપણે કલ્યાણરાયજીનું મંદિર હોય, આપણે દ્વારકાધીશનું મંદિર હોય, આપણે બધા ખબર છે ને બધી હવેલીઓ ડિફરન્ટ હોય છે.
Yeah.
પણ સવારના મંગળાના દર્શન થાય ત્યારે આ ભગવાન એવી જાતનું
Yeah,
નથી?
that is Srinath. I mean, that
એ તો
શ્રીનાથજી only, yeah.
આઠ લોકે આઠ સમય જે
આઠ
છે
સમાના દર્શન કરાવે, આઠે
right.
સમાના દર્શન
Right.
કરાવે જુદા જુદા. રાઈટ.
અને બીજું કે I mean, I know કે ભાઈ વડોદરામાં when I grew up there was નરસિંહની પોળ, there was Narsinnathji or Gopalnathji was there, Kalyanaji was there. I don't know for sure how they are connected to this, but I'm guessing it's just one of the manifestation depending upon where you are.
તમે જે પોળમાં રહેતા હતા ને બાજુની પોળમાં કયું એ કલ્યાણજીનું મંદિર?
કલ્યાણાજીનું મંદિર ને બાજુમાં હતું તો નરસિંહ ભગવાનનું હતું.
એ પાછળનું નરસિંહ ભગવાન.
Right.
પણ બેઠક એ છે પાછી, બેઠકનું મંદિર.
તો એ પણ જુદું
એ પાછું
એટલે બેઠક is like a main location where Vallabhacharya actually appeared to have recited the message of Lord Krishna.
I see.
Oh, I see.
અને
There are
ત્યાં કોઈ સ્વરૂપ ના હોય,
Right,
કોઈ
right.
સ્વરૂપ ના હોય, ખાલી પાથરેલું ને એવું જ હોય. રાઈટ. પણ શણગાર કરે એ લોકો, એના પર બધા શણગાર મૂકે. Yeah.
એટલે વલ્લભાચાર્ય actually I mean there are 130 બેઠક્સ. એમાં એવું છે કે 84 બેઠક્સ are such. Well, Vallabhacharya, it is claimed Vallabhacharya actually went there personally and talked about the divinity of Krishna. અને બાકીની જે બેઠકો છે તે નક્કી વિઠ્ઠલનાથજી અને his descendants created another from 84 to 130.
Yeah, there is one such one in, if you go to ત્યાં તિરુપતિ બાલાજીના ટેમ્પલ જ્યાં છે ત્યાં તમે જાઓ, તિરુમલા કે ને, તો ત્યાં આગળ પણ બેઠક છે, પણ it is not one of the 84 that you're talking about. It's probably one of the other 40 or what 40. Yeah.
Right. Maybe so. I don't know કે ત્યાં છે કે નહીં, મને ખબર નથી, પણ
અમે જઈ આવ્યા છે એટલે I know we've been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A quick question, maybe Anil Bhai or you know, what is Shamlaji then? Is that Krishna Swarup? Because my family tradition in my Dada Dadi, like Shamlaji and Dakor, those were the two major pilgrim. Do you know anybody what is Shamlaji?
ના પણ
I don't know about એ મેં સાંભળ્યું નથી. આજુબાજુ ટેમ્પલ હોવું જોઈએ. ડાકોર is the only place I heard of.
I heard, okay.
અને ડાકોરમાં તો જે ભગવાન લાવ્યા હતા એ ભક્ત બોડાણા કરીને હતા. You know the story.
Right.
So that's Dakor. પણ
પેલો ગરબો છે શામળાજીના મેળે, પેલો ખબર છે ગરબો છે,
રણ જણિયું પે કે રણ જણિયું વાગે.
બે જણિયું વાગે.
I know I visited before coming to USA. My parents took me to Shamlaji. That I know. એટલે મેં કહું કે that's in our family. ડાકોર ગયા હતા ને આ શામળાજી ગયા હતા એટલે મેં પૂછ્યું. The મૂર્તિ look like આપણે રણછોડરાય કે એના જેવું હોય ને એના જેવી જ હતી. એટલે I don't know કે what is that one. Yeah, we have to Google.
અમે લોકો જઈએ ને તો આપણે પહેલા અમે દર્શન કરીએ એકલંગજી મહાદેવ છે તે, પછી શ્રીનાથજી અને પછી કેસરિયાજી ને વચ્ચે પાછા શામળાજી બી જઈએ.
તમે જાઓ શામળાજી? I thought કે it was right between.
વચ્ચે આવે
છે.
શ્રીનાથજી જતા વચ્ચે આવે.
રાઈટ.
પણ એનું મહત્વ મને નથી ખબર.
અસ્મિતાબેને કીધું કે પેરેન્ટ્સ કે જવાનું છે એટલે જવાનું એવું.
જવાનું છે એટલે we rented a car and we all went.
We don't know, right?
Now, શ્રીનાથજીની સ્ટોરી એવી છે કે when they decided he was original Srinathji's temple was near Govardhan Parvat in Uttar Pradesh. But because of Mughal empires destroying the temples, they were going to bring that to Gujarat. And it took a couple of years gradually to bring. And the story goes something like this. When they reached Rajasthan, in the location of Nathadwara, it got stuck.
Okay.
And somebody got a divine revelation that Srinathji wants to reside here in this location. So that's the story. Whether it's true or who knows, I mean, I have no idea.
આથી આ ડાકોરની પણ એવી જ સ્ટોરી છે. ગાડામાં લઈ જતા હતા મૂર્તિ અને પછી ત્યાં અટકી ગયું ને આ સેમ થિંગ બીકોઝ માય દાદા યુઝ ટુ ગો એવરી પૂનમ ચાલીને જતા હતા. એટલે સેમ સ્ટોરી ધેટ માય દાદી વોઝ ટેલિંગ મી.
The original plan was to go to Ahmedabad, near Ahmedabad. And they couldn't finish the journey, so they ended up in Rajasthan. That's the story.
સ્ટોરીની જ વાતો કરીએ છીએ તો આ એક શ્રીનાથજી ભગવાન એક હાથ કેમ પાછળ ઓલવેઝ હોય છે?
પાછળ હોય છે,
એક ઉપર હોય, એક આમ હોય છે ને,
એક આમ હોય છે
અને એક પાછળ. એની પાછળ સ્ટોરી છે પણ હું ભૂલી ગઈ છું અત્યારે. એની પાસે કોઈને ખબર હોય તો ઓકે. તમે પિક્ચર ને શ્રીનાથજી નું
Dinesh, do you want to add something?
No.
ના હું આપણે કઈ જોઈશું પછી કહીશું તમને જાનાબેન, કારણ કે ખબર નથી એ તો.
ના ભાઈ, મને બહુ મને આટલા નામ હતા એ ખબર નથી. એટલે
ઘણા નામ એવા છે કે મેં પણ પહેલી વાર વાંચ્યા.
ના એટલે
anyway, I mean the idea is basically
કૃષ્ણ ભગવાનના સ્વરૂપ ગણાય અને આ કોઈ સંતોએ બધાએ જોયા હશે એ સ્વરૂપમાં એમ.
I guess so. Well, I mean, this is the descendants keep on adding the names and the forms and everything, you know. We don't know for sure how it eventually.
એટલે તમે કહો છો ને પેલો હાથ આમ તે પેલી એમને એવા સ્વરૂપમાં જ જોયા હશે એટલે એવી રીતનું સ્વરૂપ જ બનાવ્યું લાગે.
સ્મિતાબેન એની પાછળ સ્ટોરી છે. મને ઘણા વર્ષો પહેલા મેં સાંભળેલી પણ અત્યારે મને જરા યાદ નથી.
હશે યાદ તો
આ તો મેં કીધું કોઈને ખબર
આપણે શોધી કાઢીએ.
This is all symbolism and ritualism, and this is like mythological ideas, you know. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have any direct connection with the theological aspect of Vallabhacharya.
I just looked quickly in Google અને શામળાજીમાં જે મંદિર છે ને તે વિષ્ણુ મંદિર એવું કે છે.
કૃષ્ણ ને વિષ્ણુ એટલે પણ આ મૂર્તિ તો મને તો સરખી જ લાગે પેલો ડાકોરની અને શામળાજી.
It's confusing પણ એમાં એવું લખ્યું છે.
વિષ્ણુ is Krishna ને?
No, I know
અવતાર.
વિષ્ણુ એટલે કૃષ્ણ અને કૃષ્ણ.
This is all artist imagination anyway.
અને બધું બદલાઈ જાય થોડુંક આમ તેમ બધા જરા એસ્થેટિક પોઈન્ટ ઓફ વ્યૂ મૂકે થોડુંક મને લાગે.
તો પછી so what would be the difference between this word swarup and avatar?
No. This is, yeah, you're right. I mean, avatar, we'll come to next. I mean, when we talk about avatar, we'll talk about it, okay, how it works out. But this is like Krishna manifested in different ways when he revealed himself to different bhakta.
Oh, okay.
It's a bhakta saw him in a different form. So that is a swarup.
Right. But Krishna was the avatar.
Okay.
All right. I think we can just skip many of them already. This was somehow we had missed this one. There is one slide which talks about it, and somehow we skipped that slide. So let's go maybe 36, 37, somewhere in that way. Just keep on going. Okay, I think now we go back a little bit.
Yeah.
No, you went too far.
Oh, okay.
Okay, come to about 34.
Okay.
So we talked about Prasantrai and Praman Chatusai. Praman Chatusai adds Srimad Bhagavat as the authority. Prasantrai does not. I mean, typical when we learn Chinmaya Mission or Dayanand Saraswati or Vedanta Society, they will talk about three authorities: Veda, Bhagavad, and Gita. And and Gita and the Brahma Sutra. So Bhagavad is the fourth one according to Vaishnavite school, which is not necessarily applicable to other school of Vedanta. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Yeah. Okay. So principles of Pusti Marg, we already covered most of it, but I'll just kind of go through quickly. The soul can obtain liberation from illusion only by living the commitment in all other means and taking refuge in Krishna. So that's the ultimate thing. So Krishna is the ultimate refuge, and the refuge comes through bhakti. Even those devotees who are endowed with faith and worship other gods, they too worship Sri Krishna alone without proper knowledge. But if you pray to someone else, you are doing indirect way to Lord Krishna anyway, but you are just taking a roundabout way. That's the point. Then it also says kind of contradictory thing. Ananya Ashray means keeping faith and worshipping any other god other than Krishna. And Pusti Marg basically says Ananya Ashray is not a good way to reach the salvation, because it's a roundabout way and you may or may not succeed. So Pusti Marg specifically says praying to anyone else except the Swarup of Krishna is not a very good idea. A disciple of Pusti Marg Sampradaya should not have prasad of other deity. Again, this is kind of dogmatism. If you pray to other gods and you take the prasad, you may not be doing the right thing. So it is kind of, call it fanatism if you want to call that. You can have prasad of Balaji, Vithalnathji, Badrinathji, Sri Rangaji, etc., which are Swayambhu Vishnu deities. So these are the ones that are allowed, but others are not necessarily recommended, call it that way. All right, let's move on. Yeah.
My question હતો આગલી સ્લાઇડમાં તમે બતાવ્યું ને, maybe you may have said it before, but maybe I missed it. But what is the difference between Bhagavad and Bhagavad Gita?
No, Bhagavat.
Bhagavad.
No, Gita is called Bhagavad Gita. Now this is Bhagavatam is Bhagavad, the one we are talking about.
Bhagavad Gita and આપણે જે ગીતા શબ્દ વાપરીએ
the same thing. No, the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
We talked about concept of Maya, and Vallabhacharya talks about Avirbhava and Tirobhav. Avirbhav, he says, now let me make a distinction here. Shankaracharya says Maya is something that is seen that does not exist. So essentially, snake is seen in a rope, though it doesn't exist. Vallabhacharya says Avirbhav means it is a manifestation. It is not an illusion. So what he says, Maya is not necessarily an illusion. Maya is a manifestation of Brahman. So what you see in the world between, like you and me and the world, is not an illusion. It is real. It is a different aspect of Brahman. So it is a manifestation. And Tirobhav is kind of, call it that way, concealment in the same way. Shankaracharya will say, the rope is concealed and projected as a snake. So rope is a concealed part, and the same way Tirobhav is Brahman is a concealed part, is manifested as a Tirobhav, as Avirbhav in the form of the world. Or the other way to look at it is this: if you think in terms of Sat Chit Ananda, Sat is the existence. So what he says is this, is that existence per se, the Brahman also exists as a manifestation in the world. So Sat is present both ways, in the Brahman as well as the world, the universe that we experience. But since we don't have adequate Ananda component, we don't appreciate the world as we should and pray to God as we should. So Sat, second one is Chitta. So Chitta, according to Shankaracharya, is Avidya. That Avidya hides the reality. That's why we don't see the rope. Vallabhacharya doesn't dispute that, but he says that's not the main part. It is since it's a manifestation, there is nothing to hide. It is just a different way of manifesting itself. Brahman hasn't been hidden, that the rope does not appear to be a snake. Rope and snake are essentially one thing in a different way. That's what he's saying. But he says something like Ananda part is the one that we miss. And that is why we don't have the concept of rasa. So Sat is common between all of them, all the schools. Chitta is also similar but slightly different explanation. But rasa is the one that Vallabhacharya emphasizes. That Ananda part is not there. That's why we don't experience the divine joy of attaining Lord Krishna. That is according to Vallabhacharya.
So Ras is a bhakti.
Ras is a bhakti. So what he says that this universe is a lila, not a maya, as Shankaracharya says. Universe is the play of the God, where he himself is playing different roles. So it's like, if you remember the movie of Sanjeev Kumar plays 9 roles in one movie. So it's like this. The Lord Krishna plays millions of roles within the universe that we experience day in, day out. So he's manifesting himself in some way or the other as a partial manifestation of himself. It's not an illusion. He is not only the creator of the universe, but he's also the universe itself in its manifestation. That's the point he's making. And the authority he cites is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brahman is known when he manifests himself through the world. So the way to know God is to know this world. And then that's how you learn to know the God. That is what the idea is. Anybody has any comments, questions?
No comment, but just for clarification. So the difference, Vallabhacharya did not dispute Shankaracharya's theory, but he said the only way to go through is a bhakti, correct?
That is true. And second part is that the aspect of Atma versus Paramatma or Jiva or Brahman is a fraction and totality relationship. It is not same.
The aspect of Maya is also different in Shankaracharya and Vallabhacharya.
That's true. Because it's a manifestation versus illusion.
Yeah. The Maya is a basic difference between what Vallabhacharya says, something like that also comes into Shaivism, where Maya is very different than Shankar Vedanta. So that's one very distinguishing factor.
Right. It is similar to what Shiva and Shakti is. The Shakti of Shiva is manifested as this world. So same way, the power of Lord Krishna is manifested as this world in a form of a lila.
But that's a Vallabhacharya story.
That's a Vallabhacharya.
Yeah, એટલે જે કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન બધી લીલા આપણે કહીએ છીએ ને કરી આ different રાક્ષસોને માર્યા કે જે કંઈ કર્યું હોય પર્વત ઉચક્યો, that's called Leela, right?
Basically, it's a kind of metaphor, call it that way.
Oh, okay. So that's a Leela, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, little bit of a Shankar Vedanta logical thing. What is happening into this Leela, why it is so. So the basic thing about Shankar Vedanta is that Brahman doesn't do anything. He's all powerful, everything comes from him. But one of the underlying thing is that he doesn't do anything. Now, if he doesn't do anything, the world we see is constantly doing something, churning something. So where does this doing comes from? So that's where, you need some power for, right? So that power comes from Maya. So sometimes you also see in Shankar Vedanta or derivatives of it, Maya Shakti. But that Maya, is considered separate from Brahman. Now, it logically becomes very confusing. So we say, because you are introducing a duality into the logic thing. So you say it's avidya, Maya avidya. So that's how this Maya differentiation comes from.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, we already talked about the aspect of bhakti already. It's saying the same thing that we talked about. The highest goal is not mukti or liberation, but eternal service to Lord Krishna. And the byproduct of that is mukti. So that is the idea of bhakti school. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, no. Okay. So idea of bhakti school is that the act of bhakti, the act of service to God, Lord Krishna, is the ultimate salvation. You know, the salvation, as most of the other Vedantic schools say, is just a byproduct of that. It is not the primary goal. It is to experience the bliss of divine presence in your life. For a bhakta, that's the moksha. આપણે કેમ કે મીરાબાઈ કૃષ્ણ ભગવાનમાં ખોવાઈ ગયા. Now ખોવાઈ ગયા doesn't necessarily mean you disappeared. You just felt like you are one with Lord Krishna. That's the idea. So Bhakti school emphasizes that part, that identity remains as it is. You don't lose your identity, but you appear to feel like you have lost your identity.
A quick question. So what is the difference between Mirani Bhakti and Radha and Krishna vacheno? Is that different? I don't know.
Well, let me put it this way. Radha is a fictitious character. You know, Radha is not necessarily someone that Mirabai actually did exist as a person. And Radha is a character that was manufactured in the play of Jaidev. You know, and then Jaidev was a poet who wrote, and I can't remember the name of the poet, what the poem is, but he created a character.
It is Gita Govinda.
Gita Govinda, right, yeah. So basically in 12th century or 11th century, somewhere in that time frame, he wrote a play and a poem where Gita Govinda, where you're right, is where character of Radha was introduced. And that somehow became like a true character, true person over next centuries. Just like આપણે દેવદાસ કે સરસ્વતી ચંદ્રની વાત કરીએ, so somehow we know that in our mind we know Devdas didn't exist. We know that Saraswati Chandra didn't exist. But it appears like they existed because we have heard about it so many times in so many ways that over centuries it feels like they're actually real people.
Yes. So is Radha described in Bhagavad?
No. No.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
No.
See,
it's the 11th
century. Mirabai's character was always as a dasi, and Mirabai becomes one with Krishna, and through her bhakti, tame Radha nu to only till Krishna leaves Gokul, and then a little after that, then Radha's chapter doesn't come into the whole. જે કૃષ્ણનો પછીનો જે પાંડવો ને આમાં રાધાનું કઈ આવતું જ નથી. There is no.
See, remember that there were many versions, many stories added upon the old story. So there are like Appendix A, Appendix B, Appendix C, like that, you know. They just kept on adding to the existing literature.
Oh, okay.
But that was all a story just to continue a character. While Mirabai was not a story. Mirabai was a real thing.
That's exactly right, yeah. A real person that existed, yeah.
આપણે તો કૃષ્ણની સાથે રાધાને જોઈએ જ છે.
Exactly. That's what
ultimately it came down to by 14th century, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually accepted Radha as a supreme personality beyond Lord Krishna.
I think they have a temple also that they they think that Krishna and Radha same because it's the love. They are kind of Radha's love is the main story, or the.
If you become like Radha, then you can
celebrate one function also that they dress up, and you have to find out who is Krishna and who is Radha. I think in near Udaipur.
Yeah, let me now, since that the point has come up. Chaitanya Mahaprabhuના જે Goswamis હતા, there were 7 disciples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Bengal. These people traveled to Mathura, and in Mathura, their Vanshaj, they established 3 temples. One is Radha Madhav, one is Radha Vallabh, and a third is Banke Bihari. All of these slightly different images and slightly different philosophy. One of these temple, what Ila is talking about, is like that Shiva Shakti we are talking about. There is a connection to Vallabhacharya's thing as well as Shaivism in that, in which, Shiva and Shakti you can't tell apart. So in this temple, there is a Mahotsav called Khichdi, and that lasts for about a month. And every night, the sect comes together and eat khichdi together. And one of the amusing things they do is that they have dressed up Krishna and Radha in a different way. And you are supposed to figure out who is Krishna and who is Radha. That's the case. And the idea is to say that they are just one.
Same, yeah, one.
So all these Radha things came from that Mathura temples, Barsana and all these things, and Radha Madhav temple. You see that Radha Madhav same corresponds to same Radha Madhav temple. I don't know much about
but see, but Radha was a character of somebody's imagination. There was no
Yes, but love kind of.
That's
love,
true.
but there was no human being as Radha. There was somebody's imagination, and then they put love and everything else.
Yes.
While in Meera's case, there was Meera, and there was no artificial things put in. Meera did all this. She drank the poison. All the things that Meera did.
Yeah.
Radha was an artificial thing. That's the difference.
Right.
અનિલભાઈ ક્વેશ્ચન તમે કહ્યું ને રાધા માધવ તો આપણા બરસાના ધામ છે ખ્યાલ આવે છે. What is Radha Vallabh?
Radha, these are the same, slightly different philosophical tones. અને જે આ 7 આવ્યા ને Goswamis, એમાંથી I think Heath Harivansh, I know this thing because મારા જે in-laws છે, they are Goswamis. They are from Mathura. So slight philosophical change, and they have another temple. Slight philosophical difference in theory in this thing, and slightly different temple.
So there is a Radha Vallabh temple too.
Yes. So I don't know exactly what the theology is, but
I don't care for theology, but there is a different temple, Radha Vallabh.
Yeah, there are 3 temples, and in Banke Bihari too. Banke Bihari.
એટલે બરસાના is in એ ક્યાં આવ્યું?
ગામનું નામ.
ના, પણ એ કયા
ગામ છે?
મથુરા